Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. My name is Anastasios Perimenis, Secretary General of CO2 Value Europe. Welcome to this funding workshop for opportunities on carbon capture and utilization and fossil-free fuels and chemicals and products in general. That we organized together with our friends from the CVE-SUNERGY initiative, since we share the same vision of defossilizing our economy and reaching the climate goals. We have a very packed agenda today, but a very diversified also. So we hope you will appreciate this diversity and forgive us for any timing issues that may come up. In the first part, you will hear first a brief presentation of our two organizations, CO2 Value Europe and CVE-SUNERGY, and then you will hear introductory words about Horizon Europe, the new research innovation framework program, about the European Innovation Council within Horizon Europe, but also about the Innovation Fund, another funding instrument at European scale. We will have a short Q&A session and a break of 10 minutes, and then we will dive a bit deeper into the most relevant calls and topics within the Horizon Europe clusters 4 and 5, and we will hear about some project ideas from some stakeholders, small pitches of 5 minutes that can open up the discussion later. The final session is a networking session plus breakout sessions. So you will be able to meet other colleagues from 3 to 4, and from 3:30 to 4, you can also, if you like, participate in breakout sessions of two most relevant topics for our purposes, and then you will be asked to come back and we can conclude the session. A few instructions for the 3 to 4 and the B2B meetings. You are now in the platform of the conversation starter. You can go to browse and you can use filters and send invitations, because you can still organize meetings until 4 o'clock. At that point, the platform stops being able to address meetings, but you can still exchange contact data. And all your scheduled meetings can be found if you click under agenda and open your video call. You can do that from 3 to 4. From 3:30 to 4, there are breakout rooms. You can see the breakout rooms and you can join the breakout rooms if you click on the webinar on the banner, and then you can join the breakout room that is most relevant for you. You have to allow your access to microphone and camera to be able to join, and then come back to our closing session, so to the general conversation starter platform. That's it on my side. I hope you will enjoy. If you have any kind of questions, please use the Q&A part and address your question, and we can take it up in the corresponding place. Without further delay, I will give the floor to Célia Sapart, Director of Communications and Climate Science at CO2 Value Europe, for a brief presentation of CO2 Value Europe. And I wish everyone to enjoy this workshop.
Thank you, Anastas. Can you unshare your screen, please? Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. So I would like to introduce you to Value Europe in a few slides. So together with our partners and members, our goal is to build together a new industry based on carbon capture and utilization, an industry that is more resilient, more sustainable, good for the climate and good for the people. But what is CCU in a very small nutshell? It's a fact of capturing carbon, especially CO2 in our case, in flue gas or directly in the atmosphere, and in using renewable energy and CCU technology convert this CO2 into different products, such as materials, chemicals, and e-fuels. When CO2 is mineralized into building materials, we consider it as stored permanently in a product. Otherwise, it can be converted as chemicals and e-fuels, and in that case, it will come at some point again in the atmosphere in most cases. But the idea that if we capture it again, we can reach net zero emission. So, oops, sorry. So the main potential of CCU is that it will help to reach climate targets in creating net zero to negative emissions, in creative alternative carbon feedstocks versus fossil carbon that we are using now. It helps supporting circularity and waste management. For example, in using CO2, which is a waste, together with industrial waste, we can create building materials. This is a typical example of carbon circularity, but also a more general circular economy. It helps also supporting the transitions toward a more sustainable and resilient industry, and also the transition toward more renewable in storing energy and being able to transport renewable energy. So at CO2 Value Europe, we are the recognized organization in front of the EU authorities, representing the whole CCU community, and we really take together all the different stakeholders from the complete CCU value chain and across the different type of industries. So here upstream, we have the CO2 emitters, we have the low carbon and energy, especially renewable energy providers, we have the raw material and waste providers as well. And in the center, and this is really our DNA, we have the technology developers, so what will convert the CO2 into products. And we have this, we focus on the three main routes, which are the CO2 to chemicals, CO2 to synthetic fuels, and CO2 to building materials. And downstream, we have, of course, all the infrastructure for the distribution, the refining of products, and also the development of a market for CCU products. Our members are really coming from different sectors, from multinationals to research institutions, regional clusters, SMEs, and universities. Here you can see some examples. So we have now about 75 members, a bit more than what is on this slide recently, but you can see that 1/3 is more or less coming from the industry, another third from the research and the university, and we have a whole group of specialized SMEs, especially technology developers, and some clusters, for example, the French regional cluster of Accelera or Euro Energy, or in Belgium, Green Wind or ePure. And we are also liaising with partners and creating synergies with other trade associations and initiatives, such as SUNERGY, with whom we are organizing this workshop today. And we also work with other associations, for example, our little sister CO2 Value Australia, or the Global CO2 Initiative, also working in CCU in the United States. And we also collaborate with other topical organizations, so topics that are related to CCU, for example, when it comes to hydrogen, to the storage of CO2, and with PPS, so public and partners, private and public partnerships. We are focusing our activities around three main pillars. The first one is that creating really a knowledge hub around CCU, so not only on the technical and on the scientific part, but also on who is doing what. So the idea is really to really gather knowledge on what is happening in CCU, and not only on purely the technology. And we contribute also to strategic roadmaps when it comes to research and innovation. The second part, and I think this workshop will be part of this activity, is that we help project to go to one scale higher towards commercialization, and we help the innovation in trying to connect the partners and help them access EU and private fundings. And we also participate in EU projects. We are participating right now in 5 EU projects, especially on the communication, dissemination, standardization, and regulatory part, and sometimes also the risk assessment part when it comes to CCU. And the third pillar, which is extremely important, especially nowadays, with the revision of many legislative instruments under the umbrella of the Green Deal, we are doing advocacy for CCU technologies, and we are also raising awareness on CCU, on the CCU potentials at all levels, at the policy level also, of course, but also in the industry, in the research level, and also in general public when it comes to also create a market based on CCU products. This event is also organized in the context of the CCUS set plan, so the Strategic Energy Technology Plan associated to carbon capture, utilization and storage. We are representing the CCU part in the implementation plan, the Impacts 9 project of this set plan. So with that, I would like to finish this short introduction. I invite you to really contact us or follow us on the different social media. You can also register to our newsletter when you go on our website, co2value.eu, and do not hesitate to contact us when you have news to share or when you need any information on CCU. So enjoy the webinar. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Célia. I will go directly to Professor Bert Weckhuysen from Utrecht University, the coordinator of the SUNERGY initiative.
Thank you very much, and also Célia and Anastasios for having us here and also being able to jointly organize this. So I would like to explain in the coming, let's say, 5-10 minutes, SUNERGY. And SUNERGY is an initiative which actually is born out of two FET flagships, Sunrise and Energy X. And we have the ambition to make a large European research and innovation initiative in the field of renewable energy, storage and conversion. So what we aim is to make fossil-free fuels and chemicals, and we would like to foster a climate-neutral Europe. So here you see some vision on what we want to achieve. On the right part, on the left part, you see renewable energy and also source of CO2, water and nitrogen. What we would like to do is to develop disruptive technologies. And by doing that, we want to make these sustainable fuels and chemicals, which could be methane, hydrogen, but also more evolved chemicals like alcohols, olefins, and so on. And by doing so, we want to close the elemental cycles, and more specifically, we want to focus on carbon and nitrogen. And with carbon, of course, we make the link to CO2 value Europe. So what we more specifically do is we want to use this renewable power and energy to make these fuels, and we want to focus on, electrochemical and thermochemical processes. And on top of that, we want to focus on photo and electrochemical approaches, as well as biohybrid and artificial enzymes or nature-inspired processes. So the three key reactions are water splitting, CO2 reduction, and nitrogen reduction. And we focus not only on the science, the base for doing this all, but also we want to team up, and we are a collaboration between academia, institutions, and industry, because we're also interested in scaling up and trying to bring this to demonstration plants, and therefore we foster industrial cooperation. So this low TRL and high TRL level and the research portfolio and the technology push is shown very nicely in this figure on the right. So we would like to couple scale up with scientific and technological breakthroughs, and we use a multi-pronged attack to do this. And therefore, we want to link this academia, industry, but also societal and policy makers to do this and to make this transition possible. So we are an European initiative. We bring together partners from different areas, from different countries, from different disciplines, and we are doing this and try to make them this network, which allows us to ramp up now towards an CSA as a glue. But by doing this, we also develop a joint project portfolio, and we develop also a roadmap, and we want to implement that. And by coordination, community building, and also this road mapping, we want to go to large-scale R&D programs, and also that we are central and that we are able to bring all these initiatives together. Some of the people from SUNERGY are here. One of them you will hear later on is Frédéric Chandezon. He is deputy coordinator. And then we also have our industrial chair, which is Maximilian. And together we have an executive board, an industrial board, and an office here based at Utrecht University, but also with different people from Denmark and Spain. And together we run this, and we develop all the tasks which we have just mentioned. This leads to many events. We work on national workshops, industry webinars. We also have brokerage events. And we also have, by the end of 2021, a policy event where we hopefully can be then together in a physical sense in Brussels, and then also discuss our achievements so far. So if you want to stay in touch, we have a website. You can subscribe to our newsletter. We also are on all the social media you can imagine. And of course, we're also interested to have your support. So you're also invited for writing a support letter in case you're interested to join our initiative. So many thanks for having us. Enjoy this afternoon. We are looking forward to a nice cooperation with you or your institution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bert. There has been a comment that your slides might have not been changing for the couple of last one. They were left on the 3 reactions, water splitting. So we didn't spot it, but you still have some time if you like to show them again, if you like.
On my screen, actually, they were changing. So what I will do is I will show them again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
sometimes
still on time, so you can do that.
So this is this slide I think you have seen. Just double check.
Yes.
This one you have seen?
Yes, and this is where we left.
Oh, that's not good. So you see now the next one?
Yes. Good.
So here is what I meant by the scale up and the scientific breakthroughs in the multi-pronged attack. And what you see is this this staircase on the right, where we bring together technology, push, and research portfolio, and together they are interlinked. And by doing this, we want to build a pan-European platform where industry, government, academia, institutions are working together. What we want to do is, next slide is seen. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now it seems to work. What we want to do is we want to develop through a roadmap, Synergy roadmap. We want to develop a portfolio of projects and also a CSA, which is then the glue which brings all the people and partners together. And that should lead then in 2024 or so on. We want to develop large-scale R&D programs, but also really try to implement the technology and scientific breakthroughs into real concrete installation across Europe. That means not only piloting, but also hopefully that it will be picked up by industrial partners. Our organization, just double check, next slide is seen.
Yes.
Okay. That this is our structure. We have actually an executive board, an industrial board, a coordination office, and that is all bringing together then to steer and help the Synergy community. Frédéric Chandezon will give later on a presentation, and he is the deputy coordinator of our initiative. And also we have a chair from industry, and that together with several other partners, we are trying to develop an advocacy workshop. We have a network, and we also are developing of having an SRAI working group in development, under development. The events which we have are a national workshop, industry webinars, a brokerage event for Horizon Europe. We also are aiming for having an event by the end of this year, and hopefully that will be a physical event in Brussels, where we will also discuss the policy on everything around circular society, carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, and renewable energy to create that. If you want to stay in touch, next slide is seen, I hope.
Everything is seen now, yes. Thank you, Bert.
Very unfortunate. So the website you see, I already mentioned about the social media. We have a newsletter, And also we have, you can also support us with a support letter, and you're most welcome to send us this. And with this, many thanks for listening twice to the same talk. Thank you.